Thank you for checking out Is It Local? If you enjoy this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. That would really help us out. On this week's episode, I interviewed Dave Wood. He's the owner of Home Improvement Center here in Butler. They've been in business for 40 years in the home improvement business and have such a passion for people as well as the projects that they help out with. So we hope you enjoy this episode. Thanks for listening. 3, 2, 1. Dave Wood, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Evan. Grant, I'm so excited to do this. This is cool for me to see this next generation really caring about local business and in a world where it's not kind of the brick and mortar thing and so much is ordered online that you guys have. So we're excited. I thank you from my team, Home Improvement Center. You get to see my face and hear my voice today, but there's a big team behind me. It's family. We've got a couple outstanding individuals who aren't in the family, but mainly a family business. So we're honored to be here today. Thanks for inviting us.
Well, Dave, we're so glad to have you on. I am very excited about this episode, not only for what you do, but even what you were just talking about, the fact that this is a family-owned business. So if you could just let our listeners know a little bit about what your business is and how it got started.
All righty. Well, it's pretty exciting this year. Being April, we celebrated 40 years now we've been doing it. So when you hear that number, it's just kind of a little
shocking.
A little shocking to go back. It's like, wow, 40 years. How can that possibly be? But so we started in 1980. It was actually established with my brother-in-law started the business, Kirby Stevenson, and in 1980 in April, and my wife and I are down helping them paint up the storefront down at 400 East Locust Street, which is an old Victorian building built in the 1850s, has a lot of history to it, and fun things that just came out of the building itself. It was Ferguson and Son Grocery is what it was. And a little fun fact of his building down there, he had the first fluorescent light in Butler, and it was in his office. And they would organize field trips from the high school, which was the junior high. Yeah. Now would come down on field trips to see this fluorescent light, and it just so many cool things that came out of the building. Coffee companies, tea companies that were local in Butler that we'd find in the walls as we would open things up. And,
how cool is that?
But that's where we got our start, and but we always had a dream of having a huge showroom. Mm-hmm. So that came to fruition in 1998 when we bought the old Butler Packing Company building on Negley Avenue in the island, and that's where we hail from today. And we truly have had been blessed. We're not in the ideal drive-by place, but we feel it's a worthwhile destination to come to. So Grant has kind of made known it's like we're kind of a hidden secret in Butler. And it's not by design, but it's been great as people have found us through satisfied customers and just advertising and things we do. But good old word of mouth is still the best thing going out there to get people to our store as they've found success stories with other people, friends, family that's brought people to our business, even though we're not out on the mainstream.
Being in home improvement, what was the decision, or how was the decision made to move from your location on Locust Street to where you are now? What kind of goes into that decision? Is it simply the growth and you just needed more room, or how did you guys make that choice to move?
Well, it's funny. Whenever we first started, we were just renting the building at Locust Street there. As I was saying, as we started that April's when Kirby kicked off the business. My wife and I were down. We helped them paint up the storefront, getting things ready to roll, knowing that I was going to actually be in that business later on that year.
If you don't mind me asking, what were you guys doing before?
I was working out at Magnetics, a mill out in East Butler.
Okay.
Kirby had years back had been at Pullman Standard, so we both had a little bit of mill hunky business in our background. I actually had gone to college for business management. That was my dream, to have a business. And I did my associates at community college here, and then kind of ran out of cash and needed to, get some more money to move on with that. But then you take a job on, and all of a sudden it's a paycheck paycheck. It's things were happening. All of a sudden, 3 years had gone by, and I wasn't pursuing the dream. And then all of a sudden, it became real. And
Wow.
I got in business with my brother-in-law Kirby, and 40 years later, here we
Right.
are. But we at year 13, Lowe's came to town. And we thought the world was coming to an end. There's a big box store. We've heard of them, but before that, we just had there were chains, but nothing of this magnitude. So we bought our building at year 13, thinking that was what we were wanting to build at that point. But we got a little frightened about the whole event of them coming to town, and then obviously Home Depot follows. They follow each other everywhere they go. So we had these two box stores going on, but. We had looked different times at buildings and things, wanting to make that move. And mainly, you can't believe what we had stuffed into that building down there. When we actually moved it in '98, it was like a jack in the box. Like, how did we get all this stuff in here? But we planned, and where can we put some other little thing? And we got it all into the building. And then we had this opportunity of the old Butler Packing Company. And unique. Again, it went back to 1905. History again with that building, but it was broke up into many different rooms. So the 32,000 square foot huge showroom we have is what we dreamed about, but we didn't really see it as broke up into all these rooms. But it worked to our benefit in the fact that the more walls you had, the more you could put on display. So where we had stuffed things into this smaller building up there, we had this huge building, but it only took us 1 year to really begin to fill the entire place up with great displays and have that opportunity now for customers to touch and feel and really get comfortable with products, because to us, it's all about quality. You can go to box stores, you can go to places like that, and it's mainly about how inexpensive can they make it. A lot of our manufacturers that we've represented for 40 years have made new products for box stores, like all of our faucetry, whether it's Delta or Moen, whatever name, hits a trigger for you. They've not missed out on billions of dollars worth of business. So they built a faucet for them that looks identical to the one I have on the shelf, but ours are still a plumber's grade faucet, all brass inside, guaranteed for as long as you're alive. You just call an 800 number. If you ever get a drip, they send the parts to your house, where if you saw one and a half up there, it's plastic inside. Sometimes there's not even replacement parts available for the product. So it really gave us this platform now to look on an even playing field with the box store. They come in and they're wooed by all of this stuff that they can see and touch and feel. And what we love to boast is the fact that we've got 40 years of experience, and it's hard to replace that in any aspect of our competition. So we boast, but we don't want to be prideful in the fact that we have spent our lives doing this, and we like to share that with all the individuals that come. So whether you're a weekend warrior and you just want to pick our brains a little bit for what's going to happen this weekend, or whether you're somebody who truly needs a turnkey deal, we do the complete installation as well. So not only are we your huge showroom for you to come to purchase your product, but we can actually be your installer as well.
And Dave, I'm sure even going along with the fact that you have quality, I'm sure people enjoy the relationship that they build with you and with your employees. We were even sitting here talking to Grant, the fact that his parents built a relationship with you, which now has led down to him and his generation and maybe his kids someday. Like, you have that ongoing relationship with families here in town, which I'm certain helps business. And not that your goal is only business. It seems like you genuinely care about people in this town.
We do. We're born and raised here. This is where we've raised our families, and now I have 6 grandchildren, and it's just fun to be involved in generations, as you say, to do. So we've had customers that show up and maybe they haven't been in our store in 30 years, and they'll come walking in, and I'll call them by name. And they're just like blown away, like, you remember who I am? Well, sure I do, and sometimes I even know what I sold them or whatever, and we'll talk about that kind of thing.
How cool.
But it is fun to be involved in people's lives. Face it, the American dream is to own a home and to make it your home, personalize it, and we get to be part of those dreams. Sometimes people come in and they don't think that can even happen. Well, here's what I really wanted to do. well, we can do that. We really rarely have to say no to a client that's coming in. We spent 40 years gathering products. So we're a family-owned business, but we are coast to coast. So we're United statewide. We could buy a faucet for you from California and have it here next day or the day after, even just in regular shipping aspect.
Sure.
So we can offer products in this area that you wouldn't even get to see, but it's easy for us to do because we've always special ordered products. We try to keep inventory there, but the bottom line is we're about making your dream come true with the quality you want to have. So we can do custom cabinets, for people that have never been made. You have the idea in your head, but we make that a reality. We just draw that, send it off to our particularly medallion cabinetry. And even though it's never been made before, they make it for us. We get a quote ahead of time, so you're comfortable. Well, here's the price it would take to do what you want to do. But at the same token, we have kitchen compact cabinets that are in the warehouses that we buy from. We can literally get them every day of the week. So maybe you made a mistake, you tore your kitchen out, you didn't realize you can good cabinets. The reality is we've got 4 SKUs of cabinets that we can utilize come next day for you and be able to get in. So we try to cover every aspect, house flippers, property management people, or people are just putting everything, their heart and soul into their house to make it what it is. And we get to come along for that ride, which is a big privilege.
You seem like you have a very personable business. Kind of moving from the customer aspect, how do you build relationships with your suppliers? Do you go to large shows where suppliers are showing what they offer? I'm assuming in 40 years, you built some great relationships with your suppliers. How do you do that?
People are a little mesmerized when they come in and they see all the catalogs, like in bookcases and things when they come in. And we'll take it all the way back to the beginning in how we started. There weren't computers, so I don't know. It's hard for you guys to understand that probably. But
there were telephones, though, right?
There were telephones, and to even go further than that, we would get people come in with magazines and have an idea. Well, they wanted to get this, but where do I find it at? So they come to us and they have this little clipping from a magazine and it says who the manufacturer was. Sometimes you got lucky enough and there was a phone number there. We could reach out to them on the phone, but sometimes it was just an address. So there's a publication at the Butler Library, the Thomas Register, which has all manufacturers in the United States. So sometimes I would have to make a trip to the library, look up this manufacturer, and get what information that you could get. And sometimes it was actually correspondence even by mail.
Wow.
That we want to distribute your product. Could you make contact with us or whatever? So, and sometimes it was a silly thing that was maybe only a $10 item, but people realized you cared. You took the time to find that. Today it's easier to do, and you can email somebody and say, hey, we're interested in your product. But very often it's a customer who has brought forth a product maybe that I've not even seen. We'll research it, find out that wow, this looks like a pretty good product, and get that in. But we've spent 40 years, as you said, going to, national, kitchen and bath shows, going to different places where vendors would be set up and really having that one-on-one touch and feel a product and say, yeah, Butler needs to have this product. We need to have this. So there are national things that people recognize name-wise, but it's fun to go out and dig in the dirt a little bit and find some products that maybe nobody would see around this area if you didn't dig in and find some great opportunities for them to have multiple choices when they come to the store. It's kind of overwhelming to us as supplying to you, because literally we come in and we say, well, we have every bathing module made in the United States and Canada. We have every brand of faucet. We have all of these. So we have to have a lot of wealth of information. But if we don't know that answer, we'll get the answer for you. And so, it's been fun. Building that, from the very primitive way from the onset to now being able to just really reach out and find products instantaneously for people. Yes, actually, I've been dealing with a company for 10 years who has that product. I can have it here on Tuesday. Didn't realize I could. Yeah. But
how cool. Things have certainly changed, I'm sure, in your business. Going from the technology side, like you were just saying, using a phone or even going to the library to look up a company, now it's very much computer driven. What have been some of the major changes that you've seen in the past 40 years when it comes to home improvement?
In the technology end of it, or
outside of technology? So we've covered that. Is there anything? I mean, even how you install things or how you go about dealing with a customer in a certain way. How have you seen the industry change?
Well, even, still relating to technology, we've got our 40 years experience of physically doing it for you. So you can always tap into that, our way that we like to do it, and how we've found tips through the years. Because if you keep an open mind, there's always a better way. There's the minds we have are amazing. And your generation is even coming up with ideas. It's like, well, this is how everybody's done it. But hey, they got online and Googled something, and some guy out in California found some way to do this, and it's like, that is a great idea.
Yeah, interesting.
And so we've been able to take all that we've done, through our experience, and then, bring it together with all the new things that have come along that continually are flooding into us, via email, via still mail correspondence, and helping us be the best that we can be to share to our clients. But we've all feared the Amazons and all the huge, giants of the world. And, COVID has really boosted that, kind of thing. But we found people like you guys that still believe in the brick and mortar stores, and still believe that there's so much to be had from that. And so we're thankful for your generation jumping into that. We still... We laughed about the phone, but we still run ads in phone books and things. They still make those things, and whether how long they'll still do, we still get clients that come in off of the phone book. So that old thing is still working yet, but all this new ways of reaching clients, and I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. This is blows my mind in the aspect of that. So
well, again, we are so glad to have you. Speaking of things like Amazon, you said the big box stores, like when Lowe's came to town, Home Depot followed. Are there other I would say smaller town home improvement stores, not only in Butler but in the area, that you kind of have a community with, that you can talk to and say, hey, Amazon is now offering this, how are you guys dealing with this? Or, Lowe's came to town. When Lowe's came to your town, how did you deal with that? Do you guys have a community that you talk to regularly?
We do, yeah. We have, and even at a local level here, Lesser Lumber is only 3 miles from us in East Butler, and we communicate with those guys. We don't distribute, lumber, so we have relationship with them for those, kind of items. But business to business things are valuable, because you go beyond your Butler, limits, and you look at how have you combated, some of these hurdles that we have to go through. So, yeah, it's good to have community out there beyond, our town to gain from, for sure.
That's good. You had mentioned COVID just a couple minutes ago. I'd love to ask you what the last 7 months has been for your specific business, but for the industry in general, for the home improvement industry. What has this virus? How has it impacted you?
Well, what a year we've had, indeed.
Yeah,
COVID-19. We're writing the history books as we live out this time.
Sure.
Us as a business have been blessed in the fact that a hardware store was deemed life essential, for our state, and so we were never closed. So
good.
We've been open through it, and so from the onset and the lockdowns and all that happened, we still use technology, our smartphones, our iPads. People would still they had projects going on, and all of a sudden everybody was supposed to stay home. So as that first, couple weeks went by and then turned into a month, became that time where people were still calling. Well, okay, people are answering the phone. Hey, home improvement's still there. We can talk to them. They were in the middle of wanting to do some things. We had to still finish some projects. We got the blessing to do a kitchen we had everything tore out of, and be able to still do that yet. And then they kind of shut that down for a little bit. But the retail end of it continued on. So we'd have conversations with people that we were working with already, still making those phone calls out to them. Hey, we can still work through this. Let me grab the iPad, take them on tour in the showroom, and literally, what do you think about these ones or these colors? So we were still working through the process of planning that kitchen and doing, that item that they were trying to do. So when release, happened, we were still just rolling right along with it. Then the release happened, and we were not prepared for what was going to happen next. And I guess everybody being in lockdown, looking at the kitchen table, and it was the office, it was school, it was where we ate our dinner. So much life was going on in the house. But I think people found like deficiencies in the house.
Sure.
It's like,
Time for an upgrade.
It would sure be nice if we could take care of this. And people weren't going on vacation. We did get a stimulus. All of a sudden, it seemed like everybody had a project in their pocket. So the phones are ringing. Once people were released, they're coming to the store. And we've continued from the onset to try to keep Home Improvement Center a safe environment, follow the CDC rules. And we still require masks at the store, and we keep social distancing. We sanitize everything constantly, sanitize the pen, put them over here, and just, all of that stuff to keep a safe environment for you. But we weren't prepared for the level of business that was going to flow out of it. We've typically been able to keep our installations in a 8, 10, maybe 12 weeks in when we're really getting stretched out there to we're booking for February and March now. And people aren't hesitating at all. And we've never seen this happen before.
So it really hasn't slowed down for you.
It hasn't slowed down at all. It's actually been maybe one of the busiest years ever when it's all come to aspect now as to people not stopping. Sometimes they would say, well, I don't really want to wait that long or whatever. It's just like, no, we've made a decision we want to do, and we want to do it with you. We trust you guys, and okay, if it's March, it's March. And so we just follow through, and so it doesn't hurt then that any of the supply chain is broke or anything, because we've got all kind of time to round up your material prior to your thing. So it's been amazing in the fact of what has come out in the end of things. It's been amazing, just the building of relationships and that as well through this pandemic, because, everybody's been tested and tried, through this time. But I guess that's when the relationship part comes back again.
That's right.
You can just be calling and checking on people. Hey, I realize maybe you're not wanting to do this right now, but is everything okay? In your world? Yeah, it is. We're going to wait a little bit, while on that. We're just a little overwhelmed with life right now. And, but, thanks for checking in, with us. And we're doing okay,
Oh, cool.
Especially some of the older people maybe you were working with. And, but I try to see the good in all things, so it's easy to find the bad in this year. But when it started 2020, I was just all excited about 2020, the perfect vision, that whole, play on words. But as I've seen, as we move to the end of this year, it's been a lot of good has come out of it in families and being together, forced to be together. But I've seen a lot of good come out of it just in the way people treat people and just a new compassion, as we are also an election year as well. There's just been a lot of turmoil in the country, and it's just I've seen good,
That's good.
And I think good is still going to continue to come out of what we've learned this year. A lot about ourselves. I think we've had to take a good look in the mirror and soul search about what's important. And it's helped us to treat our customers differently when they come in. A little more emphasis on what's really important, in life and how to approach a project from that aspect. So,
how many employees do you have?
We have Kirby and I, the owners of the business, and then we have 7 employees. More actually, if we count our wives as well, and they count.
That's right.
We couldn't run this business without them, so they are a huge importance to us as well.
Yeah.
So,
how did you lead through this past 7 months? Did you have to do a lot of kind of rallying the troops? Did you have to kind of paint a vision for? You had just talked a lot about, listen, we're going to focus on what matters here. We're going to focus on these relationships. Did you kind of spread that message through your company?
Yeah, we definitely had team meetings and pump each other up for what we're at. We continue to look towards products and what we can do as well to enhance people's lives. There's been a new surge in flooring. We've always had flooring, but We actually have more flooring than a lot of flooring stores do, again, because we have such a huge showroom we have. But we've seen this LVT luxury vinyl tile product just kind of like take over the marketplace. Like 90-some% of flooring sold is this product. And like, how did this, come about? But it's waterproof, it's kid-proof, it's pet-proof. It's like, wow.
This is a newer type of floor that's on the market?
Yeah. So although we have, hardwood and ceramic, and we do, fair shares of business, this product has come to the top like nothing I've ever seen in our 40 years of business, because you can't lay it over carpet or maybe some really high levels of ceramic tile that have highs and lows and big grout joints that are but other than that, it can go over every surface, so you don't have to put down a subfloor. Wow. You can use it over your existing floor, and as we said, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. And we've been waiting for a floor they've talked about for the last couple of years because people worry about scratch resistance too when it's floors, dragging tables and chairs and furniture and that office space where you're wheeling your chair and that around. And they've come out with one. We just put the display up in the last 2 weeks of a scratch resistance. So the display came with a stiff wire brush, and the challenge is just take it, go ahead, attack this floor and see what you can do with a wire brush, and it's just like, and you do it, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. So now we've taken that floor that has been able to do all these other things and add the scratch resistance on top of it. We've seen people just taking out all the carpeting in their house, taking their whole entire first floor, stripping down all the floors and going with one floor that looks like a hardwood floor is the main. They do make it look like a tile as well. But the main, thrust of it has been plank floors, wide floors that maybe you weren't able to do with true hardwood that you can do with these floors, and just different looks. Rustic that looks like a 100-year-old floor, or just different things they can do with a vinyl product.
I'm sure in the last 40 years, you have probably had the greatest perspective of the trends of home improvement. So whether it's, at the time, certain different types of carpet that people liked, certain different types of even paint color that people might like. In the past, 7-8 months, you said a lot of people are doing more and more home improvement. What have been some of the trends, not only this floor that you're mentioning, but are there any other trends that you're seeing that just the masses are kind of clinging to, whether it's a paint color, type of floor, certain look? Are there trends that you're seeing regularly right now?
There are always are trends, and what's funny about them is they all turn around, and after 40 years, you see what happened here is happening again. And
sure.
So maybe you guys didn't live that at that time, but I've seen that happen, and now I see that come around. So I see it from some different perspective as well. But color trends are always something. It
seems like gray
has taken over the world. And
that's what I did here. Like this, it's just the grays, like the whites. I mean. That's so interesting.
So with LED coming on and again, almost replacing the whole lighting industry with LEDs, as I age, and I like these bright lights. I like this, 5,000 kelvins is the color they call it, that's super bright. And the lumen output that they can have now is like you're outside when you're inside of your house. You can really make it look like daylight in there. I think people are happier. It works with the grays that everybody is doing. Those really bring out and enhance all those tones. So we see those kind of trends happen all the time.
Yeah.
And, even though a lot of the flooring was changed with that, there still are, carpet people that still want that feeling under their toes, to be laying on the floor and enjoying TV from that aspect.
Right.
So that'll never go away, but new things come along. Smart Strand came along, which people have heard of nylon and, different fibers that make up carpet. This was a whole new invention. Smart Strand was its own thing that had a molecular kink, put into it, that as you tried to crush it down, it always tried to stand back up again. And stain resistance like they'd never seen before. Funny story about Ricky the Rhino, which came from one of the zoos. And they saw that Ricky the Rhino needed a new home. So they decided to try this. They got Smart Strand carpet for Ricky the Rhino, and they did his area all in carpet. This is a rhinoceros. You can imagine what rhinoceros can do to carpet.
Right.
Not from a crushing standpoint, but just those bodily functions that happen every day. So Ricky the Rhino, he lives on this carpet for 3 months. You can imagine just what this has looked like at the end of this time. So they lift that carpet, they take it out of there, they professionally clean it, and they put it in the corporate office. A carpet that Ricky Rhino lived on for 3 months, did all his business on, and now it is all cleaned up, shined up, and you're walking on it and living in it in this corporate, part.
And it looks brand new, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
So they've done it with equipment where they did tough mudders on them, and then they've come by and then taken all the mud off and cleaned that one strip, through there.
Yeah,
and it looks like the day
how
it was
cool.
put in, but many trends like that have come along that we see. Yeah.
Well, was there anything in the last 8 months were people, from your perspective, were people focusing on kitchen? Were people focusing on paint jobs? Were people focusing on tearing up floors? Like, was there obviously not for everybody, but was there one main product that it seemed like, well, for some reason in coronavirus, everyone wanted to work on their kitchen, or everyone wanted to change the carpets?
Kitchen would be my number one choice that people have done.
Interesting.
And I think, again, as well, because that was either the counter or the table that everybody's, lived on through this, doing school and home and office and just life. And kitchen is the hub of the house, so definitely the most important room and one that we shine in because we have so many brands of cabinets to choose from. So as we kind of said early in our conversation, a kitchen for every budget. So our kitchen compact we can have like next day. Also, the price would just blow you away. You just can't believe that it's an American-made cabinet that could be bought almost less expensively than maybe one of the Chinese cabinets.
Really?
And the Chinese cabinets have always been around. They're still always going to be around because it's something that, again, is sitting in a warehouse. They're ready to assemble, RTA. So if you're a little bit of a handy guy and you want a kitchen, our IKS brand, International Kitchen Supply, ships same day. So you could come in with the drawing and everything. We see the list. You maybe already did it up. Well, here, let's see what this price is out. Do it. Literally get on the phone, have it shipped immediately. It's there in days, and then you assemble it yourself. So there's a huge savings to be had there. If you don't want to take that on, then it can be already assembled for you at a plant they have here in the States, and then shipped to us, within 3 weeks' time, you would have it in your place. But the kitchen is definitely the place that we shine design-wise. We've taken our 40 years experience, and we have great staff down there. Everybody's qualified when you come in. You don't have to make an appointment to come see us. You can just come in and have that kitchen dream there, and any one of us can sit down with you and start the process, go through and make those dreams happen. So, and the installation end of things that we talked a little bit about earlier is huge in the kitchen world. Again, kitchen is the hub of the house. So you take the kitchen out of place, and it's okay for you to take that project on, and maybe it takes you a month to do it, and every night you don't have a kitchen to cook in. There's all these things. It's fun the first week as you eat out, and then it kind of wears on the family a little bit, especially mom who doesn't have her kitchen anymore. But one of our boasts that we've always been able to say in any aspect we do, but kitchen very important, is we'll start your project on a Monday morning and you're generally enjoying it for the weekend.
Wow, man.
So that's something that really doesn't happen in the world. And we sometimes forget that as we speak to our customers, even that most of the contracting world is trying to do multiple jobs at the same time. And we've never done business that way. So if we're doing business for you and we're being your installer, it starts Monday and you're usually enjoying it. Even sometimes if we're blowing out a wall and getting that intense in it, we've got it ready for you for the weekend, and you're enjoying that new space. And
Dave, I'm sure just from a business owner in home improvement, you've heard the horror stories. I know I have, of people that they might hire a contractor. That contractor, like you said, has 10 other jobs going with, between only a couple crews, and a job that was supposed to take 2 weeks is now on the 2, 3, 4 month mark, and everyone's upset. People are frustrated. Communication's poor, and it just kind of goes south quickly. You guys take the necessary people, using the necessary equipment, and taking a week. I'm sure on average a week to handle a job. That is awesome.
Yeah, and we sometimes just forget how fortunate it is to be able to supply that. And in day-and-day living coming in, you just kind of forget that the rest of the world's not operating in that. So
Right.
thanks for giving me that opportunity to share
Sure,
that with
of
our
course,
folks
man.
today, because it is huge.
Yeah.
But we don't shun at all that individual who's gung ho and ready to do it, and help them. Help that supply chain thing happen for them, because so many times it's not just the stretch out of the thing, it's just that whoever they were buying it from just underestimated the fact how long it was going to take to get it. Where we again are so tight, we've spent 40 years just special ordering product for people. We've got it covered from next day to a timeline that satisfies all their needs that they want to do. Like they've got a dream, they want this to happen, and we know how quick it can be. We within 24 hours of ordering the product, have the acknowledgement there, the date it's going to show up on our doorstep, so that we don't have those little mishaps that come along. It's important to keep that project flowing.
Is that so for your customers that might only order parts but are doing a lot of the installation themselves? Just out of curiosity, what do you see is the biggest mistake that the self-starter, personal home improvement, I'm going to fix my house person makes? So is there kind of a common theme to, like, normally people just miss this? Is it timeline? Is it a certain product?
It's usually timeline. A couple of things came to mind. The first being the fact the individual who tears out their kitchen or bathroom and then comes into the store to look, realizing, oh,
feeling really gung ho day one, and then like, oh wait, now I got to order.
Then they put us under pressure. But again, we rise to the occasion because we do have such a strong supply chain ourselves.
Yeah.
And although we may want to choose this particular thing for you if you had the time to wait, I can have this here tomorrow for you, this tub shower. I have a warehouse over here. If you really want to drive over to Cranberry or over to this area where we have another warehouse, we can have that for you today. So although they made the mistake of not lining up all their product at home before they do the tear out, we've helped them recover from that kind of thing. The other thing is we do a lot of bathroom and kitchen things, so also it includes a lot of plumbing. So we've really beefed up our plumbing world. We have a hardware store, and maybe your listening audience doesn't realize. They've heard of Home Improvement Center. Maybe they don't realize that we're kind of the last of the Mohicans of an old family hardware store. Where we deal with one of our suppliers out of Tennessee that shelves 150,000 items. So we have that access every week to have that for you. Hydrants yet that you pump out in the yard, for water. We had an old gal who came in every year in canning season to buy a seal for her canning things. There's nobody will get this for me. But the plumbing end of things, they say it takes at least 3 trips to the plumbing store to get what you really need. So very often that's one of the things we tease about is when somebody's looking at it, oh, 3 times here today. I think you're done then. I think you might have you might have achieved your goal yet today. So, but yeah.
Who would you say your target audience is?
We're blessed again. People like yourselves who are out there, sharing that maybe second generation of purchasing from us. That we've got the pleasure of having your age group. We have a lot of seniors that, again, have been around forever as well and have known about us. So we had to have the blessing of having that. And then all that gap in between, we've had a really full-scale age group. So it's been great for us. And a lot of the seniors, they don't want to touch anything anymore. They're looking for turnkey operation almost all the time.
Really?
They just know they want to do everything. We'll try to have a running joke. We don't really want to paint your project if we don't have to, but we get a lot of turnkeys that they don't want to pick up a paintbrush either. So we have to paint it for them as well. And
Sure.
do that. But we cover every age group.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Butler area, for those of you that are listening or watching that might not be from Western PA, a lot of housing is moving north from Pittsburgh. So I'm sure you see it, obviously. There's developments that are popping up left and right from Cranberry, even up here to Butler. It seems like newer homes are being made very rapidly, very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. And that's where Butler is interesting, because you have these brand new homes that are happening quickly, but also homes that are 50, 100, and 150 years old, all in the area. Do you see people looking to purchase? How do I put this? So the seniors, like you said, are looking for that turnkey. Do you see any people that are looking for like the fixer-upper house that might be 100 years old that really want to then come to you and say, hey, this is my dream, this is my idea? Are you seeing that from the millennial generation?
We are, yeah.
Interesting.
Which is surprising to me, because I see that more being just kind of, and not to say that the younger generation is a microwave, but sometimes refer to them, because you guys have been spoiled as a generation. Not realizing that, it's taken generations prior to you many years to get to that place.
To build what has happened today.
Where I've seen, your generation really strive and make things happen in early life. So my house is 117 years old.
Wow.
Grandparents' house is even older than mine, but I see young folks doing it. But we thrive at that because it comes in, and that's that piece of history that I love. I love that somebody who wants to restore things, and we can dig back in our archives of products where you may not see in today's market, but yet we'll bring out these 6-8 inch crown molds and these big moldings and things that you don't see people using every day. But here's somebody that comes along and that's what their dream is. They want to restore this 100-and-some-year-old house to all its glory. And so we have fun. There's times that, our spirit rises up and we say, oh yes, let's dig into that. And,
if you can even think back, what would have been some of the craziest home improvements that you've done? And not that you could give a specific person's name or anything, but have there been any crazy projects that stick out to you in recent memory?
Yeah, there has, particularly in the kitchen world, where people have pulled out the plug and maybe did $100,000 kitchen remodel with cabinets all custom made with, our companies that would actually do onlays. You can buy like wood you would like put on something, tack on. Well, our cabinet companies would take grapevines and leaves and all these things and actually apply them to the cabinet prior to the finishing process, so it looked like they were truly carved out of the cabinets. And again, 100-some-year-old homes, but no holes barred. They had dreams, and we got to participate in making them a reality. Yeah. And those are few and far between, that people go to that extent on things. But there's some standout projects that really you have a lot of fun in the aspect, not only financially to be involved in a project of that magnitude, but just the planning and all the detail that goes into something, like that.
Yeah. How about for you personally? Is there an aspect of home improvement that you love? For you, do you love kitchens the most? Do you love working on bathrooms the most?
Well, we do a lot of kitchen and bathroom. It's definitely our forte. There's a joke running down at our store that nobody wants to seem to do a bathroom. We have to do them all. It's just right. And the guys kind of get wore down a little bit, from another bathroom, But I love kitchen and bath just simply because of the design element of it. Yeah. Very often we get a blank slate where people say, well, I don't care. Let's just start from scratch. Do anything you want to do, and trust us with that. And so the design aspect of doing that. But I just love people. Yeah. I just love to have a relationship with somebody, and it seems like that's what our clients want when they come. They'll come in and share some of the horror stories of box stores, and they say, well, I went up there. I thought, well, I'd try it because, let's face it, we're a family business. We're open one evening. We're open Mondays 8 to 8, Tuesday through Friday 8 to 5, and Saturdays 8 till noon. So a limited venue compared to a box store, our kind of thing. But they've been up and, to check that kind of thing out. And they said, man, I saw somebody an aisle away. I was just trying to get their attention to get some help, and they ran from me. Where we're just like, doing this podcast today. You said that we're just going to take our time and just have some fun and learn about Home Improvement Center today.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do for you when you come in. So we want to learn about you, when'd you buy your house? What have you done to it so far? Where are your dreams? What brought you in today? And do that and begin to build that relationship with the customer, because if they do that kitchen, guess what? They do have a bathroom, and they do have a front door and a back door and windows, and you want to be part of all of that, time. So it's a relationship. For me, that's what makes it rewarding.
Well, I think it's so clear, even from talking to you, not only do you care about the project, but you care about the person too. Like, you care about the customer, and that radiates from you, even as you talk about your business, man, which is just awesome. So I just love to know, where is, in your opinion, where is Home Improvement Center 5-10 years from now? So talking about your vision, is, do you see things changing for you guys? Do you see yourself wanting to offer new things? What does 5-10 years from now look like for you?
Well, in our family, we often use a phrase, keep your fork because the best is yet to come.
Nice. I like that.
So we're blessed to have a generation that wants to move into that. So my nephew, Ryan, my niece, Nicole, they're both in place to move the business into the future. So cool. They have been the ones that have us, we're on Facebook. So we'd appreciate, if you're hearing us today, to like us on Facebook.
That's right.
Go to our website, do those things that weren't part of our past, but are present and obviously going to be our future.
Right.
As we look at more ways of communicating with people. Podcast, never thought this would ever happen. I hope again as well that they are going to do those same things. Maybe they'll be following in that first step that I'm taking, and to be involved in a podcast and to share our story with people who maybe wouldn't get to see it. So it's exciting to know that there's a generation that has been with us. As long as they have been. They've been with us for life in reality, because as this business started, if you had a good day, that means customers came all day, the phone rang all day. At the end of the day, Mr. and Mrs. Jones are going to want to know what their price was. Did you design my kitchen yet? So when we went home, we would either go to Kirby's house or come to our house, and our children would be around the table as we lived the business in the evening as well, as we got the prices and we made plans. So they've lived it from birth, and now they want to continue on in that. So that's exciting to see. So Home Improvement Center is not going anywhere. 40 years is just the beginning yet.
Thank goodness.
So,
thank goodness. Butler is better because of it. So I am again so glad that you were able to come on, share your story, share your vision, and really just share about the fact that you guys really care for people. So that's just a huge thing for people to hear here in Butler. So again, you had talked about Facebook and social medias. Your location again for people to find you.
We're at 505 Negley Avenue. That's the island. Sometimes people recognize it from that. Hutchison's Dry Cleaners up our street. We use that. Sometimes that's been there a long time as well. But you're going to enter from Main Street on Wayne to South Chestnut. If you're coming from the other end of town, you'll eventually catch South Chestnut and follow it as far as you can till you hit Negley. And then you'll turn right on Negley at Hutchison's Dry Cleaner and find us at the end of the street. And then again, you can reach us, via our email. It's hic.butler@yahoo.com. And then again, our website is Home Improvement Center was gone with the E's, so it's Home Improvement Center without any E's and center.com to find our website. And we just appreciate this opportunity to be able to share our business and our lives with you guys. And great luck and blessing to you guys as you continue to bless our community with Is It Local? It's amazing. We thank you again from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you, Dave. This was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks.